going viral is not necessarily a science. It's a trial and error. It is a consistent thing that you have to consistently do until you go viral. And I'm working on a case study that I'm going to have on our blog, which is basically showing all these brands that have like gone viral and what their history of trying to go viral looks like. And really the gist of it is that it's...
Leron Hirschkorn here, your host of the E-commerce Mindset podcast. In this episode, I talked to Ian Sells, who is co-founder of MDS as well as joinbrands. We talk about the benefits of masterminds as well as the benefits of user-generated content and how you can leverage that content on Amazon. The episode is sponsored by IncrementumDigital.com, which is my agency where we help brands scale on Amazon using Amazon advertising, listing optimization, influencer marketing, and as well as 8fig.co, which helps you with growth capital for your brand, as well as supply chain technology to help you map out your orders for the entire year and visualize them. You can check out 8fig.co. Enjoy this episode with Ian Sells. Okay, so we have with us Ian Sells on the podcast and YouTube today. Many of you probably know Ian as the founder of MDS. He's now also the co-founder of joinbrands. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on, Leron. It's great to be here.
Thank you. So for those that may not know, maybe you can give us a little bit of a background, how you got into this space and some of the things you've been in.
Yeah, I got in this space quite a while ago. I think 2012 was when I first started selling on Amazon. And I was coming out of my real estate career and I was investing in a buddy's business who was selling on Amazon, buying cables, HDMI cables. And so I kind of gave him some cash and we kind of spun that up into a business. And within a few years, that became a multi-million-dollar, business basically in revenue. And so we ended up selling that company and moving on. And I started another brand, a fitness brand on my own. And that brand, I was just trying to find more resources out there on the internet. And, at that time it was like Brian Johnson and Scott Volker and Manny Coates, right? All the guys, helping everybody kind of get started. And it was great, but I had already had a little bit of history because I had started this brand really early with a friend of mine, And so I basically was always looking for this more information that was like before it kind of got big. And so kind of created this little network called, at the time it was just called the 10K and up group or 50K and up group, right? And it kind of continuously transitioned as my business grew. And so what is today known as the $1 Million Sellers Organization, which is more of a business professional organization. You have to do $1 million in revenue to get in there. And we do like multiple interviews. And it's really just about like connecting with like-minded individuals that have reached a certain caliber of success where they're really focused on their business growth. Yeah. So today, we throw lots of events and we have chapters in all around the place and country and the world really. And, it's super fun because I get to interact with so many entrepreneurs, but I was growing that while I was doing my business. So it kind of came organically and it wasn't intended to be a business, but it kind of turned into one, obviously. So it's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's awesome. And MDS has a very strong reputation, is one of the best masterminds in the Amazon space. And I think one with the highest quality, sellers in terms of who is in there, because I know the requirement is $1 million in sales, but you have people in there doing 100 million in sales too,
right.
and a lot of people that are close to or above 8 figures,
right?
In terms of sales.
Yeah, we actually have about 525 members right now, and the total revenue is over 6 billion. So wow. The average is quite high. And like you said, like we don't just let anybody in just because you're doing $1 million. We also have core values that we follow. Like, if you can't give more, get more, or, what would mom say and things like that, like really have integrity and like willing to help other people because, part of the reason why me and my partners are doing it is because we care about helping other entrepreneurs and connecting them and making sure that they're getting value extracted from each other. So it's not coming just from like me, like giving information, right? So it's just a different type of organization and it's just super fun to be a part of.
Yeah, it's awesome. I've gotten a chance to, do some calls and we're a partner with MDS, great group. And I think you guys are now starting a 12-week kind of challenge with a few people in the advertising space. And we're excited to.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Participate in that. In
PPC
that
Showdown.
PPC Showdown, 12 rounds. So it's going to be, like a challenge every week or so. So yeah, definitely. And is MDS kind of continuously open for people to apply, and like on a year-round basis to apply and see if it's a good fit?
Yeah. Anybody's welcome to apply that, meets the criteria. There's multiple like interviews that we have with people, but, most people in the group have come through referrals. So, if you hear about this, you can mention the podcast or the show, but, most people that are in the group are actually members referring other members. And that's kind of how we grow. We don't do any marketing really, hosting trade shows or stuff like that. It's really about serving the members.
Yeah. And I know one of the things you do as well is, you really keep like service providers outside of the group. I know, I've come in for calls, but if I wanted to pay you, double the rate to join MDS, you guys wouldn't allow it. And, I think I have a lot of respect for that, because you're trying to keep the information that's in there, to stay in there, and also not kind of bias.
It just limits self-serving, thing. People join these and then they're starting to pump their content, and it becomes annoying, not from you, but like from other people. And so it's just been this way of like, okay, this is really just a business professional organization for e-commerce sellers in general. And, we have a Shopify group too, so that we're spinning up as well, not just Amazon. And we talk about investment strategies and other stuff. And we have a life group also that helps people like work on their fitness or their health or family issues or depression. So we kind of just hit all the parts of an entrepreneur, but in a way that's kind of different than others. And we keep our partners close, so we don't let lots of partners in. So we really are selective, because we want to have the best of the best. And when you come to one of our events as a partner, I think you feel like you're a member, right? You're almost in everything. You're sitting with the members. There's no booths where you're selling at a trade show. It's really about networking and building those relationships. And that's what the members love. And that's why it's a little bit different than what else is out there. Yeah, definitely. I definitely, even though I'm not in the group, I know the people that are in the group, and based on that, I would say definitely worthwhile checking out if you're a 7-figure seller and you want to grow your business. I appreciate that.
So I know, you're definitely an entrepreneur working on, not just one thing. I think you've been involved in a variety of things in our space, Rebate Key, I believe, a lead seller. Of course, some Amazon changes, affect some of those businesses. I think you've been working on, user-generated content as a way for people to grow brands. It's something we work on as well, because we really see the, sometimes the viral effect of how, a TikTok can make a product sell out on Amazon or go to top 100 BSR. And, a lot of Amazon sellers don't necessarily focus on that. So what kind of prompted you to, create this Join Brands platform, and what is it exactly that it can help, brands and sellers with?
Yeah. So, we created Join Brands really out of the frustration that I was having and people in MDS were having about reaching out to content creators, trying to get content made, trying to get promotions on TikTok or Instagram, right? It's a lot of manual work. And that's kind of where, all of my projects have kind of started from. Rebate Key was an idea because I said coupons are not going to work. It's so easy for it. Back in the day when we started, right? It was you could give a 99% off coupon code and it would launch you, and viral launch grew so big because of that. And you were basically selling products on Amazon for a penny, but you were getting ranked for it. And so I was like, well, that's going to be obvious for Amazon, and they're going to eventually shut it down because they're not getting the revenue, because they're making commissions on sales. So when the price is low, I was like, so it's bad for them. So, in those days, you would always say well, what's best for Amazon? And I'm like, well, getting full price. So, and I figured they'd take away rank juice if any coupon was used over 50%, because that's pretty much like a gimme sale. That's like a handout, almost like a free sample, right? So, I used to work in, Circuit City when I was a kid, and we had mail-in rebates, and I kind of came up with that idea, hey, why don't we digitize that and do it this way? And my partner Leo, who was also in MDS at the time, I just threw the idea out to MDS, and everybody's like, that's awesome, let's do it. And got some investors from MDS in the early days, and we kind of blew it up. And I think we changed the game, with that, at the time. And unfortunately, I think rebates got abused. We were probably we were the number one rebate platform, right? We were trying to be rebates for everything from, in-store purchases and whatever, but being able to have that online loop. And, they were getting abused and search, find, buys and all this stuff that we weren't doing. But I think because we were so big, we were kind of the target. And then out of nowhere, Amazon changes terms of service and pulls our accessibility with Rebate Key to Amazon, which is funny because that was always the challenge, was getting people to trust our service. And so when we got approved by Amazon as a rebate provider, they're like, cool, it's good, let's go. So that was a huge thing for us for building that trust. And we're telling everybody, hey, we're already approved. We didn't say we were a different service, we're a rebate service. And, we didn't even need Amazon. So it still, is in existence today, but trying to figure out what the next step is with that. But that goes to say, I always look for things that need to serve a need. And then we put tech to it, to help solve the problem. So Join Brands came out of the idea of hey, how can we create a marketplace where brands or restaurants or hotels or anybody can really connect with content creators easily. And there's a lot of platforms that were out there. A lot of them are very expensive, as you know. So there wasn't anybody serving the small, medium-sized businesses, in my opinion. We had experience building these type of marketplaces, and through Elite Seller, we really ramped up our development team as well. So we had to do a project, and so let's do something that's not just Amazon. And it's really been amazing, just be able to talk to other people who were my competitors before and they're not now. It just makes everything so much better, and we have this blue ocean. And so we've been able to really scale up Join Brands, which is basically a marketplace where brands and content creators connect, and you can purchase images or videos for as little as $15 or $60 for a video, and get creators applying to your jobs within minutes. So think of Upwork for content creation, right? It's literally that simple. It takes from 5 minutes to create a campaign. And so we launched a couple months ago, and we're smashing numbers every week basically, and continuing to have our best success. So it's really awesome.
And what are the best practices that let's say sellers should be doing with this content? I can think of you can run ads, social media ads with it, right? You can put it in your Amazon store and your Amazon listing. What are some of the things that they're doing to then take that content and use it to generate?
Yeah. Well, we have I actually created a PDF because it's a good question, 9 places where you should be using UGC to improve your listing conversion rates, right? So obviously one of the obvious ones is in the main image, right? We have people that are ordering 10 or 20, UGC videos or images on our platform for $15 each, right? You get 10 for $150 plus the cost of product and whatnot. And they're taking those images and then creating a collage slide and saying 1 million happy customers. And they're showing pictures of these people, and they have these real people holding up products saying, I love this product, right?
Right.
And so it makes it really easy to create a real slide versus using stock photography from Shutterstock and then photoshopping your image in there. It's just people want to connect, and they don't trust things that aren't authentic. And while you are paying people to do this, so that's kind of the funny part about reaching out to influencers and stuff. It's part of the strat of the game, but you have real affinity for people that love your brand, but it's hard to get them to give you content. So by doing this, you're exchanging money for that, and we have some amazing content creators with massive followings on TikTok and Instagram, but also that that the lower level ones are the ones that actually make some waves for not much money. And so you can get into the promotion side of it. But like you said, your listing images, you can have question and answers can be answered by video. So you can use videos there. You can have videos in your reviews. So when you get, customers leaving reviews, they should, try to encourage them to do a video review, because it actually takes up a lot of space on the main page, which is cool. In your EBC, right? So utilizing that in your
so premium A plus,
premium A plus is huge, right?
Yeah,
because
I
think people get stuck in this, I need to look like this brand that spent all this money on this product, video, and really the ads that go viral, the ones that people really just hacked it together, right? The Dollar Shave Club was actually a low budget commercial. The guy was an actor, but he was just walking through his warehouse doing funny things, right? Some of these other ones, the high production doesn't always get it, and you might have dropped $50,000 and you don't even know, right? So all the major D2C guys, they're all testing tons of creative, right? You don't know, you can't predict what's going to go viral or what's going to resonate. So you got to test a lot and then continuously improve.
Got it. And in the case of Join Brands, it's really focused on generating the UGC. Is there what's the reason why you didn't say, okay, we'll also get the content creators to post this on their social media, or do they? I'm assuming they don't do that, right? That's not
they do currently. Actually, what I wanted to share was in about 30 to 60 days, we're going to be launching our TikTok module. So we kind of started in there hey, let's just get creators, because it's really hard to find just to laser target top TikTokers. You can go to the creator TikTok marketplace and do it, but it's very hard, right? Cumbersome. And my opinion is that everybody's an influencer, right? You're an influencer. My wife's an influencer. When her friends post something online that they like, she's going to go out and buy it, right? And so having a smaller sphere of influence is actually better, because people are more authentic and they connect and they'll trust it. So so we went after content creators because that's really actually the fastest growing job description in America, essentially. If you ask kids what they want to do, they would literally want to be YouTube stars or content creators, right? They don't want to be a Michael Jordan or an athlete anymore. It's funny. But so basically went after these content creators, and then we come to find out that a lot of them are actually also, big on Instagram or big on TikTok or big on YouTube, which is cool. So we're moving into that next step of the business model, which is basically, okay, we have content. you can use it in this ways, but now we're going to help you use that content, reach their audiences, and you'll be able to do things called Spark ads. I don't know if people don't know about it, but you would, but a lot of people don't know, is basically when a creator posts their video on TikTok, they can give you a code where you can put it into your own ad account and you can boost their video on their account to all of their followers and reach all of them.
Yeah. And
it's
what's
really
interesting
cool.
is we run those, we've tested, we get that code, we do it through Facebook and also through TikTok. And actually we've tested running it from the brand, obviously, and running it from the creator themselves. Obviously, we get a lot more engagement from the creator. We've also tested you don't have to run the ad just to the creator's audience. So we've actually tested running it to the creator's audience and running it to sort of your targeted audience. We've actually seen better results running it to your targeted audience, but you get a lot more engagement when somebody sees, Joe Schmo account, right? And they see an ad, it's a lot more authentic than, brand. And that's one of the things you could do when you're working with influencers and they post. And this is something you basically should be sort of negotiating, right? When you are working with an influencer, is we want to be able to run ads through it, and you get a code. And I think you basically also negotiate the amount of time that you run ads. But getting that UGC is super important, because one of the things that's different about Amazon ads and like TikTok and Facebook is that ads have a shelf life, right? There's kind of like fatigue. People see the same thing over and over again, it stops working. And so you consistently want to get new creative, and kind of run its life, and then do another creative. Keep updating your creatives, which is something people in the D2C world know, but I don't necessarily think people in the Amazon space really know. It's one of the benefits of continuously getting new user-generated content, that you could do. And, you mentioned also the sort of like, people love this product. I had a brand that I worked with, they sold, but their A+ content on the bottom, they had these basically like square blocks of just people with the product, like holding the product. They had jewelry, and so people wearing the jewelry, etc. And they're like, millions of people, our fans love our jewelry or whatever. And it was like, it looked like you're looking at Instagram, and
exactly.
I think not enough people are doing that. I've also seen another brand that basically, I was looking to buy slippers, and I looked at their video, and their video was basically, on their listing, was a compilation, and it was basically what you kind of typically see on like a Instagram or TikTok, which is like horizontal, like the video, and then the black on the sides. And it was basically a compilation video of user generated content, right? So, hey, I love these slippers, they're super soft, they're super comfy, never give them up, whatever, next person, right? And it was like a 45-second like compilation, and you're seeing all this like authentic people who say why they love the product, holding it up. It looks super authentic. I'm sure they generated that through user generated content and probably paying influencers. I also happen to think that Amazon posts will also turn into Amazon Reels. I don't see a reason why Amazon would not further develop that into like user generated or videos that you can post, and then eventually charge you to have a promoted post or promoted video, because they're not going to keep that free forever.
Well, that's a huge nugget right there too. Like, not enough people use Amazon posts, right? It's free traffic, and a lot of people are just taking their main images and putting it down there. But if you actually use like UGC or like unique images, you're going to get a higher click-through rate and conversion rate, because people are going to like, oh, what's that? So, by getting a lot of images created, you're going to be able to have that arsenal of like, creating a lot of posts. And we actually in our PDF, I can share with you, can put up on a link or something.
Yeah, we'll put it in the show.
We have the 9 hacks, and that's one of them. But we suggest like scheduling out three a day, 3 a week, right? So that you can constantly have that stream of it, and you're getting exposure on your competitors' listings, and they're seeing your images in real customers' hands. Like, oh, that's like not from China, or that's not like, that's a brand I can trust, right? Because they have real customers. So it's super important. And I was going to ask you, like, so you do a lot of this creative testing, like how many types of video content or image content do you try to get like a result, or do you just choose one?
You mean on the Amazon side?
Like with when you're running ads, or, when you're creating a listing, right? Or a compilation.
When we're running ads from, let's say from TikTok to Amazon, we'll test like 5, videos, and then typically like 1 or 2 are the ones that end up getting traction, and most the best CPC, etc. But it's so cheap to run TikTok ads, like we're 10 cents per click, 11 cents per click. Like, it's so cheap that within a matter of spending $20-30, we know already like which video to kind of focus on. And when we do with Amazon video ads, we are generally A/B testing. I would say at least 2 videos, for a product that we want to A/B test and see which ones, perform better. I think on the Amazon side, if you have a product with a ton of, reviews and great price, it definitely helps because that's showing up next to the video, and the video is, secondary.
Right.
But I think on your listing, that like authentic compilation video can go much farther than sometimes like a pro video. And now that you could do, A+, you can have a video in your listing, a different video in your A+. I think there's going to be more video placements. Amazon's already rolling out more sponsored brand placements now, like on the side of the page. They're featuring in your from the brand, like brand story now. There's a link to go to your storefront. Like definitely, branding is a lot more important, right? And people are so used to seeing content on Instagram and TikTok and Reels that I think it's super authentic. And not enough sellers are really focused on it, because they're more into the day-to-day of, like tackling other things in the business. But post is free,
post is free. Yeah, you should be doing it. Everybody should be doing it,
That's a great opportunity. And honestly, I do think there'll be a day that Amazon turns on, post for video. And if you have, 100 pieces of UGC ready to go, you're going to be at an advantage. It was the same thing like several years ago before, it was only Vendor that could post video on the list. It was only Launchpad that could do video in A+. Eventually everything gets to the seller, but later. And I think those that are prepared in advance that could see those things coming are always in a better position to take advantage. Video ads, when they rolled out, were 10 cents a click.
Right.
And those that had video and could get them out.
Yeah, we're ready to go. Yeah.
Had massive, return. DSP has video ads that you can run. Well, what happens when that comes to sponsored display ads and it's available and you're able to test out, 10 pieces of video for your product because you have that.
So all the more reason for, like the joint brands type of thing, right? Because you just need to get fresh content. And previously it was kind of hard. And so I use the analogy earlier of like Upwork for content creators, right? It's just that simply you post a job, you get people applying. It's kind of like a dating site in the sense like you get to see everybody's profiles, their past reviews, their past work history. The creators are now actually making like public profiles where they can actually upload their own content as well. And so you can pick and choose like, I want this girl, that guy, I'm looking for older people, we're constantly adding new creators. We have over 10,000 already registered, and we're constantly adding, they're just coming, we're marketing for that. Right. But we're also I also wanted to point out, like, we're also like a Shutterstock for content, because what's happening is we actually encourage the creators to upload multiple pieces of content. So you might order one video, but they upload 10 different videos, and you can pick and choose the ones you want to buy. You have to buy one. I see. But so you basically have this like Shutterstock of your brand now, and you can go back there and buy a video anytime you want. And additional content is cheaper, and we're trying to put together packages and stuff. But you can log in, and if you get 10 creators and have them making images and videos, you'll have probably hundreds of pieces of content that you can pick and choose from anytime you want. So make those compilations.
And how does it work? If you don't like the video, do you not have to buy it, or do you at least have to commit to one?
You have to commit to one. So it's actually a good question. So our team actually pre-checks all the videos that get submitted to you. So we check to make sure it matches the brand brief, right? But if you forgot to say something, then that's not the creator's fault. We have a button where you can reject content, and you can also chat with the creator and ask them to do it again or something like that. And then sometimes they're happy to. If they're doing lots of edits, then you have to imagine this takes a long time. And we started this with let's get out there and get a lot of jobs, but $15 for an image and $60 minimum for a video, that's pretty cheap, right?
Yes, very.
How many hours are you going to put in for $60, right? So, but it's a good way to get started, and we're going to have name your own price and all this stuff, and creators will be able to do that. But it's really unique in that way where you can get tons of content and reject it. So.
Yeah, and it's awesome for the creators if they do, if they do good work. I mean, is there a way to will there be sort of like creators that are creating higher level content, like you're willing to pay, $250 for somebody who's creating like super awesome, amazing content? There's like a premium sort of tier.
So we have a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 already. Because we're newer, right? So we bring everybody in as tier 1, and they like kind of graduate, kind of like as they get reviews, how they've done job. Because somebody might be a pro, but they just don't, and their work is great, but then they don't ever respond to emails, right? So we have that built in every time you have a job, but we encourage and actually require you to leave a review for the creator. The creators can review the brand. So, hey, don't work with this brand. They don't respond. They don't ever tip.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we're just trying to make it a marketplace that kind of grows on its own. We have tons of creators, so any brands that are looking for content, it's free to sign up. That's the other cool thing about ours is, we grew a lot of our projects from having this like free, freemium model in the beginning, and so it's free to sign up, free to create a campaign, and free to even see the creators that apply to you. So you don't pay until you choose a creator and you match, basically. So it's really nice. You can, get on our platform, create a job, and see what kind of people you're going to work with.
Right. So, as you're talking and explaining, I see more of the differences between, let's say, this and other platforms, because there are obviously other platforms that allow you to connect with creators, but I haven't necessarily seen that sort of like review component, premium, tier 1 versus tier 4 graduate. And then if you're in a community like MDS, I'm sure there's people like, hey, I work with this person, they're amazing.
Yeah.
You can like,
for sure.
You can get that through the reviews, right? And understand like who are the ones that are, like the best to work with. Because we've seen it too in influencer marketing. Sometimes, we work with somebody and the video is fine and it's good. And sometimes we work with somebody and it's like almost like a professional, like their person is just like, photography is like their hobby, and they do a really awesome job. And I think the post alone is like an amazing use case of getting that content. Can you ask like for something like post, or let's say you want to use a custom image beta for your sponsor brand, can you ask for certain like image like size requirements? Or
so when you create the campaign, you get to choose like you want a vertical, landscape, horizontal, whatever. You can tell them I want it to be inside, outside, I want the background clear and clean, I want it to be a white wall. The more specific you are, the better. Only thing is, the more you dictate what they say and do, the less authentic it will be, and the less creativity that they'll have. So it's there's a fine line, and this is one of our issues, is like sometimes brands are not happy with the content, but sometimes and many times they're really happy, but it's like it's all subjective. And it's like, well, sometimes the worst looking ad does better. So it's like you kind of have to take it, and that's why we try to start it off as like, okay, let's keep the prices low, keep it transparent for both sides, right? Yeah. Because if you're when you know how it is when you're negotiating with these creators, they all want a lot of money, and you're negotiating them down. They feel like they're doing you a favor at this point for $50, right? Or a free product. So we just said, look, let's start here. You can graduate up. We'll have a place where when we do TikTok, it's going to be based on average video views that they have, removing outliers. So if they went viral, doesn't mean they're going to get paid more because they went viral 1 out of 500 videos, right? And so, we're just keeping it really like stable. And there will be a time where you'll be able to like, chat with the creator and like, hey, can you do this like amazing monologue video? And how much would you charge for that? And they'll be like, okay, 500. And you'll be like, okay, sure.
So, and they're posting like every piece of content you buy, they also post?
No, you can ask them to, right? You can chat with them to post it. I've seen people just posting because they're actually excited. They're like, hey, here's a job I just did on Join Brands for X brand, and they'll tag it in there. So people are getting free exposure anyways. But we're adding that module where basically you'll go in there. So right now you can create a video campaign or an image campaign, right? And then the next will be a TikTok campaign, a reel campaign. We'll probably have pro as well, like you can do product on white, or like you actually get a professional photographer to do like some sort of studio set, like a Suna type of thing. But yeah, we're really just trying to build this like a way for brands to work with creatives. I mean, I could even imagine us doing helping people get content for their blogs, right? Like it's, and I also imagine like Join Brands helping with ambassador programs. So we have like this huge roadmap that we want to follow and work on it, but we take a lot of user feedback. So when you work with us, like we actually care about what you suggest, and you will see changes, based on what we think is going to impact the most amount of users. So you might have a unique use case and you think it's really important, but we actually look at it from a point of like how many people this impact and serve, right?
And you can, you're talking about the Spark ads. You can ask them for the code to like run an ad if they post it to run an ad against it.
So it's actually in the flow. So the creators upload the video and give you the Spark code at the same time.
Got it. Okay, so they are always uploading like a video to their.
Or when we don't have TikTok yet, so it's coming in about 60 days. So right now you just get the content. Right. But the other thing that's cool about what we do is, our platform is like an escrow. So it's like the creator knows they're going to get paid because we charge the brands already, and we're holding the money for the creators. Now the creators don't get paid until you select content. So I don't, if you ever worked with influencers where you send them $50 and they just disappear, that happens all the time
Right.
when you're doing this outreach. So we are actually
especially if you're sending free product, right?
Like your free products, right? So and we have a way to send free products. That's the most risky because we don't have anything to hold on the creators, but the creators can go buy products and you can reimburse them. They can buy it on your Shopify store or whatever. So you don't have to send them to any marketplace, let's say. But so then the creators start to learn that, okay, this is a good place to work because I know I'm going to get paid. They have a team that actually audits the images and says, nope, brand, sorry, you can't reject all these images. You have to pick one. This matches, the work. Right. So that we minimize the dispute and we help with the transfer of the image rights, which is super important. So in our TOS, whenever you purchase an image, you get to use it. And this is super important because people don't realize this.
I have a story for you. I'm potentially an expert because I had a lawyer reach out to me recently about a case where a brand had a model in LA, and the agreement with the model was that they're going to use the image on their website. Well, the model has been on their Amazon stuff for the last like 5 or 6 years. They've sold the product to like resellers and stuff. And now the model is suing them. And, this lawyer contacted me who doesn't really know anything about Amazon and is asking me like, hey, can I get an idea of like the estimated sales and like, what's the impact? And like, does an image with a model versus it's like a t-shirt. So does the model versus a t-shirt make a difference? And I might be in LA in a couple of months as an expert witness, on this. So what you're saying, actually, a lot of people don't think about, but I'm telling you, there's a lawsuit right now.
There's a lot. And even if somebody, a customer posts a picture of them using your product on Instagram, you cannot take that image and put it on your website. You can get sued by that creator because it's all about like the copyright, and whoever is the creator of the work, it owns the copyright unless you specifically transfer it. So be careful in, oh man, we looked on Instagram, we have all these photos, like let's just put them on our website. Don't do that. You need to do it in this way. Or you need to reach out to them and say, hey, we'd love to purchase this image.
You can put like an Instagram feed, but
you can put it feed, right? But you cannot actually claim that work, right? And so people need to be very careful about this. And that's why I think Join Brands is huge for that purpose, right? And we make sure that when you purchase the content, you own exclusive rights of it. You can do anything you want with it as long as it's not illegal. Right. You can't manipulate the photos to be some sort of legal thing, but you can use it for whatever marketing purposes, whatever. And it's all part of the contract. And we have all of their content. So it's like Shutterstock. You just pick the ones you want and you can buy 1 or 10 or 100. It doesn't matter. And you can work with, like when you create a campaign, you can work with one creator or you can pick 100. Right.
And I mean, the truth is like the way I would see it as a brand, right? Like, okay, let's say I want to go get photography. I'm going to work with 10 different creators, pay $150, and like if I get 3 or 4 great images from it, right? Like I won.
Yeah.
I mean, like because you said sometimes the brands aren't happy with the content, but again, if I'm doing video, I'm going to go buy 4 or 5 videos, $200, and if I got like 1 or 2 great videos, then like that's awesome, right? Like it's well worth.
Yeah, and I only say that because like people have this expectation, like you're like, okay, I picked somebody who I thought was, let's say, beautiful, right? And then her video was like she didn't have makeup on that day or something, and they're like, what, or they expect it to be like perfect, like as if they paid a professional model and an actor, and so their expectation of what they want. So we're trying to temper that, and that's why I'm out here trying to also educate people. Like it's authentic, let it be authentic. We're trying to make it reasonably priced, and when you pay more, you can get something nicer, but it doesn't mean it's going to work better necessarily.
And how does join? I mean, I know of another platform that basically takes like I think 12% of the money paid or something from the brand as a fee. How does Join Brands make money on it?
Yeah, so brands pay 10% fee on all money that they pay through the platform. So we charge 10% on the image, on the video, right? We charge, that's just how we charge, right? It's just a flat fee.
Right.
And you clearly stated on there, it hasn't changed, and we believe that's the right way to do it. And what else can I tell you? Like it just, we made it super easy. I think that's the other thing is like, okay, you can go reach out to those creators. You can join up on another platform. Grin is at $3,000 a month just to sign up, right? It's crazy. It's for enterprise level. And it's like,
we looked at a few different tools like that. Yeah. Like 30.
And it's a lot of work, these platforms, the other ones that you guys showed me you were using for a little bit, you have to contact them, negotiate, work with them. You need a whole person to run that.
Right.
Join Brands simplifies all that, gets rid of all that stuff. Yes, you might find a better influencer, or whatever you're looking for, but you're going to take all this time to do it. We made it really easy where you just post a job. Within hours, you're going to have hundreds of creators applying to it. You're going to be able to look at their profiles, choose the ones that you want, Or if you don't care, you just want to you want to do 100 images right away, just pick automatic campaign and it'll automatically choose creators for you.
It sounds like today it's not replacing everything you might do with influencers, but that over time that it will, right? That you have to post on TikTok, you'll have opportunities to work with bigger influencers, smaller influencers, pay for that difference.
Yeah.
And the easy stuff may be less work, and the if you want to find an influencer with 1 million followers, then that might be a little more vetting, right? And
but we're gonna have that too. Like we're gonna have a marketplace where you can invite creators and influencers, and then once we do TikTok, like we're already aggregating tons of TikTokers like to come in, big and small, and you'll be able to see their stats and what their average video views are and what their engagement rate is. So we're doing all those things right now. It's wasn't what we wanted to come out with, right? We want to start with this, and it's serving a really great purpose. But obviously, I think the next evolution is, okay, we can help you create content and promote it. And that changes us more into like an advertising platform, which is, where I see the future, because, as you know, like Facebook ads, it's not as good. Google ads, not as good, right? So like distributed advertising is really important. That's why Spark ads is important, right? You're actually running ads through a different node, and it kind of is disconnected from your brand, essentially. So by utilizing influencers or content creators, and you have 100 of them, and you're about to drop a product on Amazon, and you're like, hey, everybody do a video and tag Amazon, maybe do it in my brand name, right? You're going to get that halo effect, which about, right? Which is all of a sudden traffic's going to be flooding in there and buying it if it's a good product. And like I said, and I wanted to talk about this a little bit before we end, but like going viral is not necessarily a science. It's a trial and error. It is a consistent thing that you have to consistently do until you go viral. And I'm working on a case study that I'm going to have on our blog on Join Brands, which is basically showing all these brands that have like gone viral and what their history of trying to go viral looks like. And really the gist of it is that they're posting hundreds of images or videos. Actually, they're posting hundreds of videos on TikTok, and only a few get pushed out by the algorithm. So the rest are like 10,000 views, what have you. Then there's one that's got like 2 million views. And you're like, what the heck? All the videos on the whole page look exactly the same, except the background is different. Right. They're doing the same action in different places. Imagine if you had a camping pillow or something, right? Okay, I'm camping here, I'm camping there, I'm blowing it up in all these different places. Same function, same tags, same everything. One time it goes viral. And I think it's just the algorithm picking it up, and you just get luck of the draw essentially. And I think same on Instagram. So the reality is you even more need lots of content to do this. And the other cool thing that I'll share, I haven't shared this anywhere else, is I'm finding it's equally successful for brands to go viral as it is for creators. So you actually don't need the creators to post it. You just need to consistently post on your own brand page, because I see plenty of brands that post it from their own account and it goes viral, but it takes 100 shots. So that's just the reality, right? And I don't have that actual stat, but like when I post a blog and I put the links out there, you'll be able to look at these brands and you go, wow, they've done exactly what you're just saying, like posted all these content and 1 or 2 went viral. And those generally translate into product awareness, brand awareness, and some sales, and sometimes lots of sales, right? And you can build a brand that way. And so it's really, you need a consistency. It's not, and that's why I say like the overproduction of content to get that perfect piece isn't what actually is required to be successful nowadays.
Right. And what you're saying also is interesting, because sometimes if you want to work with, really big influencers, they're vetting you maybe more than you're vetting them.
Right.
And they will look at your Instagram and your TikTok. And so if you have content there, if you've built up a following there, like you post a bunch of content, you run some of these contests that allow you to build up followers, things you're going to want to do. If you want to work with an influencer on TikTok that has 100,000 followers, they probably don't care. But if you want to work with somebody, that has 2 million followers, they're going to decide whether they want to work with you,
right?
Or not too. And having an easy source to get content on your own social media and then build up your following is also important to attract influencers. I also see the future, and maybe this will be a module that you add on, but I see this a lot with apparel and different types of products. You have a collection with an influencer, right, that you create together. It's kind of like the next level of partnership with influencer marketing. And you can have a particular collection that you develop with an influencer, and there's a revenue share. on that collection. I think that's where, that's where things are going.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. And that's kind of like where my big concept and why we chose Join Brands is it's a partnership. And I honestly see that like I said, when we're talking about like somebody posting their picture of them holding their McDonald's burger or Starbucks cup on their own Instagram, Starbucks can't use that. So why not post it on Join Brands, tag Starbucks in the future? This is not available now.
Okay, Starbucks.
Starbucks. Yeah, here's the new idea.
Starbucks, Howard Schultz listens to this podcast, so he's.
Oh, perfect. All right, good. Yeah. So basically, if he gives me some money, I'll get it done faster. But basically, anybody can load up their images to our platform, and Starbucks can pick and choose the ones they want to purchase.
Right.
And so I imagine anybody that wants to create content can post on Instagram. They can also post it here as like a Shutterstock for those brands, and then those brands can come to Join Brands, create their account, or okay, we already have all these people being tagged. And then boom, like you're saying.
So the creators have an opportunity to just post stuff for brands, and the brands are not there yet.
Not currently, but that's like what you're talking about is the future, right? Like this is the place where you can join. You can actually work with brands that you actually care about, because that's what actually, if you see content creators out there, they're actually trying to find brands to work with. It's actually we're serving a purpose for them because they're struggling to get in contact with good brands. Everyone's like, oh, we already have our influencer manager, whatever. They want jobs, so we're actually bringing those jobs. But they also want to work with brands they actually care about. So when we offer that ability for them to say, hey, post content about this brand, and we'll reach out to that brand and say, hey, we have content. Do you want to purchase it? Right. And so I think that's the awesome future of actually real authenticity. That's the approach, that's real authenticity. And I think that's the cool thing about our platform too, is we're giving a lot of power to the creators to upsell the brands. So by loading more content, they can get you to buy more content, make more money per job. Also, if you buy some content from that creator and you keep the job open, you don't actually close it, they can continuously upload content. So they might take your product on vacation and upload more photos if you chat with them. So it's a really cool system, and you can actually build relationships with creators on our platform as well. And I think that we're just solving a lot of problems for both sides, the hassle, the contracts. Creators aren't business owners generally. So they're trying to do this new career. I'm not trying to put them down. They're awesome. They're creatives, right? And so they want to spend time creating, not negotiating contracts, tracking down money. Brands say, hey, I'm going to pay you after the content comes. They don't pay them. All these things happen. So we're solving problems for them, and we're solving problems for the brands, but we just don't do everything all at once. So I think I just lost focus here. That was weird.
Yeah. It's okay. The content's more important. There you go.
There you go. See, I'm back in focus. See, so it's good.
Yeah. Well, you brought it all into focus for us on marketing and UGC.
Well, happy to help anybody out. Our team has live chat. We have a lot of Amazon experience. So any other questions you have, we're happy to support or put you in the right direction. We're creating content for Amazon sellers, for e-commerce brands, for D2C, right? This is not just an Amazon focused software. Once we had that issue with Rebate Key, like we said, hey, let's build another software, but focus on a bigger global market. And it's actually estimated that the content creator market is worth $100 billion by Forbes, and more than 50 million people already consider themselves content creators.
Wow,
it's insane.
Yeah, I have a D2C brand that I want to create. I just bought actually a four character domain name that was available for this brand. So definitely, and I want it to be Shopify only. So definitely influence marketing is the way I'm going to get it out there. And then I'll get the link from you for the 9 use cases. I'll share it on the YouTube description and the podcast show notes, so people can pick that up and learn more. So thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. This is awesome.